Good morning, everyone. Mayor Michael Foley here, live at Westbrook City Hall. I have Economic Development Director Daniel Stevenson behind me. Thank you for joining us this morning, and also have our currently Deputy City Clerk and soon-to-be Deputy Economic Development Director Ashley Rand also joining us on Zoom from her office. And we wanted to check in with everyone. We hope everyone is healthy and well. It's been a few weeks since our last update, and wanted to take some time to update everyone on the work we have been doing here in the city of Westbrook. As we approach our 11th week of this state of emergency, we are beginning to see some things opening up. We can now be encouraged by some light on the horizon, with more coming for the future. We encourage everyone to continue practicing the recommended precautions as we begin to enjoy more of our community. And we applaud all for the great work complying thus far with all the current and previous rules and regulations. As always, we remain in communication with officials on developments related to the situation and would like to provide additional updates on the city's response plans and handling of issues that arise due to the COVID-19 state of emergency. And today, we'll be outlining our updated plan for reopening. There have been many confirmed cases and deaths in Maine, including some city residents and employees. Our thoughts and prayers are with those families who have been affected. Ensuring the safety of our employees and the general public, while also continuing to provide the critical services necessary to run the city, is of paramount importance to us. Police, fire and rescue, and public services have been operational, and we thank those dedicated employees serving us during this crisis. In order to minimize the rise of exposure to employees, volunteers, and the general public, we have done the following. We previously declared a state of emergency, which remains in effect until further notice. All actions are reported to the City Council on a regular basis, and previous actions can be viewed on the city website. We recommend following Governor Mills' many executive orders mandating a series of continued and new restrictions, including economic and community development restarting plan, and a requirement for cloth face coverings in public settings where physical distancing measures are difficult to maintain. We also are announcing the Westbrook food service establishments and retail outdoor expansion plan and regulations approved by the City Council earlier this month. This authorizes administrative review for additional food service establishments and retail businesses to expand outdoor areas as determined by the administration. And we will focus on this item in more detail with Dan and Ashley later on in today's event. We've also are announcing today the closure of Valley Square, placement of picnic tables throughout the city, placement of additional picnic tables throughout the city, and downtown decorations to help our downtown businesses and bring some joy to the area. And again, Dan and Ashley will also expand on this more as well. And our economic development staff is working with businesses and organizations allowed to reopen, assisting to obtain the COVID-19 prevention certification badges from the Maine Department of Economic Community Development. Also today, we're announcing the opening of all parks, athletic fields, and play structures and courts that were previously closed, and that will be as of June 1st. And for those having difficulty meeting the May 15th tax payment deadline, please contact the tax collector, and we will work with all who need assistance for the remainder of the fiscal year. And we have finalized the City Council Finance Committee. And the City Council Finance Committee has completed their review of the fiscal 21 budget, which will result in no tax increase in the tax rate to help residents and businesses during this challenging time. Difficult decisions were made that we do not take lightly, and we appreciate everyone's understanding to achieve this goal. This budget will be voted on by the City Council on June 1st, with the final vote on June 15th. These meetings will be held in person at the Westbrook Performing Arts Center to allow for appropriate distancing and will be limited to 50 in attendance. We are also starting preparations for the upcoming state primary and school budget validation referendum election, which has been moved to July 14th. The time period during which voters can request absentee ballots has been extended. We are encouraging everyone to vote absentee to help protect the health and safety of all. This is not a mandate, but an urgent request. Many of the people who work at elections are in the high risk category, and while we don't know what the virus will look like on election day, making this commitment now to vote absentee will help keep the community healthy. You can request an absentee ballot online, by mail, or by phone, and the city clerk will mail you your ballot to complete and mail back. We have issued a public service announcement for this effort, and you can visit our website or contact our election hotline at 591-8116 for more information. We are continuing to collaborate with area leaders to advocate for more flexibility for the use of CARES Act funds to meet the needs of communities to address the collateral damage and financial hardship caused by this crisis. We need to advocate for increased assistance that allow these additional funds to make up for decreases in state revenue resulting from the pandemic. Until then, we are committed to make sure our fiscal house remains in order. We previously announced the cancellation of our annual Memorial Day parade and ceremonies and replaced this with a Memorial Day tribute. This online event was very well received, and if you did not get a chance to watch it, please visit our Facebook page. And also thank you to our city clerk, Angela Holmes, for organizing that, our American Legion posts for participating, and our creative services manager, Barry Dodd, for the outstanding work he did in bringing that video together in its final form. Previously announced that the Westbrook Gorham Community Chamber of Commerce has canceled our annual Westbrook Together Days events. Thank you to this group for your efforts in planning this event annually and for your commitment for a bigger and better celebration next year. And then we also have a few other economic development items. We've previously announced the creation of a small business emergency commercial rent assistance program, as well as the Westbrook Warren Memorial Foundation Emergency Arts Fund that allows for $1,500 grants for businesses. And Ashley and Dan will expand on that as well. And then we previously launched Westbrook's takeout and delivery support effort and contest to support our local businesses and win $100 gift certificates. Thank you to all those who have participated, and congratulations to the winners thus far. We thank everyone for supporting local businesses, and don't forget to get your entries in. Superintendent Dr. Lancia has also announced that the Westbrook School Department has continuing with the distance learning for the remainder of the year, and I believe the school year ends in the next week or so. But details are on their website regarding their response. And we've also been working with them on ways to honor the Westbrook High School class of 2020 to include some special events such as a graduation at Rock Row with fireworks. And if you didn't see yesterday, the banners placed throughout downtown recognizing seniors. We are proud of all the work everyone has done to support these efforts. And then we're announcing an updated City of Westbrook phased reopening plan as follows. In accordance with Governor Mills' Restarting Maine's Economy guidelines, the City of Westbrook has begun a phased reopening of several city facilities and services. These reopening plans are compliant with the phases set forth by the governor and follow CDC recommended best practices regarding physical distancing. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, all decisions regarding city operations have been guided by the following priorities: the safety of our residents, especially the seniors in our community, and those residents with underlying health issues, which make them particularly vulnerable to illness. Implementing physical distancing policies and practices as recommended by the state and federal CDC, and maintaining a healthy work environment for our first responders and frontline employees so they can perform their critical duties and continue to serve and protect our community. Under this phased reopening plan, some buildings will open to the public sooner than others. New safety measures will be put into place at all locations, and services that can be and have been offered remotely will continue to be transacted in that manner. For everyone's continued safety, we strongly encourage members of the public to avoid visiting city buildings and facilities whenever possible and continue to utilize our website and remote services when able. Most of our services are offered online via email, phone, and mail. Visit westbrookmaine.com for additional information regarding remote services. Please note the impact of the pandemic is evolving and there are still many unknowns. We may be required to adjust these plans and policies as the situation changes. This may include closing buildings again for certain periods of time or curtailing services. The priorities outlined above will continue to guide us going forward. Changes and updates will be communicated to the public via our website, e-alerts, and social media. Our general safety procedures are most buildings are open by appointment only. Appointments should be made only for those transactions that cannot be made remotely or online. Only one person is allowed per appointment unless necessary. Physical distancing measures and new procedures will be in place for all city buildings and facilities to regulate the interactions between staff and visitors. And visitors should not enter city offices if exhibiting symptoms of illness. And visitors will be required to wear masks, as the state guideline requires. So city facilities operations are listed as follows. City Hall is open. Hours of operation for this building will remain limited, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Physical distancing, protective measures are in place, and face masks are required in accordance with Governor Mills' executive order. The mayor's office will accept walk-ins, but prefer appointments to be made. The finance department and city clerks, customer service transactions, motor vehicle registrations, tax payments, etc., are open to the public. Vital records and other requests of the city clerk are by appointment. Planning, code enforcement, and assessing are providing all services to the public with required safety precautions. 2 persons will be allowed at a time at the planning customer service counter. Code enforcement is conducting field inspections with proper safety precautions, and entrance can be made to that portion of their building. Economic Development and Human Resources also encourages appointments to be made. Our public safety building is closed to the public. Any citizen requesting to conduct business is recommended to schedule an appointment with the appropriate department. Walk-in concerns will be required to request entry into the facility or may be asked to schedule an appointment based on the urgency and availability of staff support. Public Services is providing operational support throughout the season. The facility remains closed to the public, but access is by appointment for conducting vendor and contract business. The Walker Memorial Library's tentative reopening schedule and guidelines are as follows. Beginning today, we're encouraging patrons to resume use of the book drop and begin returning library materials. Library materials checked out before the closure have a due date of August 10th, so patrons shouldn't need to be concerned about overdue items or having to rush items back on short notice. So on the week of June 8th, we will begin curbside service. And more details on that service is available in our announcement. It will be available on the library website. And then July 1st, possibly sooner, depending on guidelines from the Maine Library Commission, we may open for limited patron browsing within the building, which will have a number of requirements associated, which will also be included in this announcement and on our websites. As this is an evolving situation, we appreciate patrons' flexibility as these guidelines and dates may need to be adjusted to accommodate changes on short notice. The health and safety of our staff and patrons is our highest priority. And then also we're unsure about when van delivery will resume through the Minerva system, but we should have more update on that as well. And lastly, the Westbrook Community Center will remain closed to the public until further notice. However, the following services and programs are set to resume as follows. The main office and general assistance offices are open by appointment during normal business hours. And then our community clubhouse, which is an essential childcare service that's available, is currently running Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. And then Meals on Wheels continues to operate for Tuesday and Thursday deliveries. The food pantry continues to offer curbside service on the first and third Tuesday of the month, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Woodford's Family Services will resume on June 1st during their normal business hours. The Westbrook Seals Swim Club will resume their program on June 1st. And then the traditional summer camp will replace the community clubhouse program beginning on Monday, June 22nd, and will run Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5. The outdoor pool will be closed for this summer of 2020, given the conditions don't allow for us to prepare that and appropriately social distance everyone at that location. The indoor pool will also be closed until further notice. And then the following events and programs have been canceled. The Summer Concert Series, Community Fest, Summer Track and Field, Summer Tennis, and Summer Softball Leagues. Also, Food Truck Fridays are postponed until at least September 11th. This situation is fluid and rapidly evolving. that requires close monitoring and the need to adapt quickly. We continue to rely upon the governor, Maine CDC, and our coronavirus task force for guidance as we continue monitoring this public health situation. We will modify all directives as appropriate and provide additional updates to everyone with changes. Under the continued advisement, we should minimize our public contact in order to reduce the spread and not set us back. So please continue to practice the rules and recommendations to protect us all. Remember, these preventative actions are being taken out of abundance of caution and concern for everyone. We apologize for any inconveniences you may experience as a result of these measures. We encourage everyone to check on their neighbors, especially seniors, and help each other out if and when you can. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with all affected by this crisis. Let's remain strong right now to keep each other and ourselves healthy and protect our first responders and healthcare providers. Our community is strong and we will come out stronger. And again, for more information and to see this announcement in its full form, please visit the city website. With that, we'll now back up and go to the items that we announced earlier, which is our economic development items, which is today will be the focus. As many know, the outside seating for businesses in the city is very important given the fact that currently, based on the regulations in the state, that's the only form of restaurant business that can take place during this phased opening approach. And so luckily, Westbrook was ready and we had some outside rules and regulations established back earlier this month. So with that, we will turn it over to Dan, who will expand on that program and others, and also with the assistance of Ashley. So I will step away and let Dan talk that.
First of all, I really want to say a great thank you to Mayor Foley and for his literal tireless efforts, his leadership and responsiveness during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's really stepped up to the plate in a way that has made Westbrook better and smarter and agile. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Dan.
We want to talk today about four programs that have been launched to support our business community and specifically our small business community. One of the things that we found out is each one of these has been rolled out. We wanted to get them in one spot so everyone that's eligible, it's easier for them to participate in them. So this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through each one at a time. I'm going to queue up each one. I have Deputy Director Ashley Rand is going to walk through each one of those pieces in a little more detail. So for those listening, there are grant dollars available now to you that you can take advantage of. So let's start with the first one, the Small Business Emergency Commercial Rent Assistance Program. This is in the form of a grant. It's in the form of a $1,500 grant. And the purpose of it was to support businesses with 50 employees or less in order to either pay their mortgage if they own the building they're in, or to pay rent to the landlord. Because many of these businesses, you have been shuttered, you still had to pay rent in many cases, and you don't have the income needed coming in. We found the first initial amount of the applications that have been coming in. There's been a few hiccups. I think Ashley can address those about what to submit, how to submit it, and how easy it is to do, and how quickly you can get a response to that and get your rent paid. So with that, I'm going to let Ashley step up and take over a little bit more detail.
All right, so currently, right now, we have 26 businesses that we have awarded this grant to. That's equated to $39,000. The funds available, which were generously donated by our WIC department, was $105,000. So that was enough to do 67 small businesses. We've got plenty of money left over. We have enough for about 30 more businesses to apply. The application is listed on our website. It's a pretty simple Google form, basic information on the business. The four things that we're really looking for is a statement of need. That's just to really show us what loss of revenue the business has seen over the last couple of months. And it can be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet showing what would have been made, if there was any cancellations in orders, services, anything like that. So a quick statement of need can be in a paragraph form or uploaded. Then we're looking for the lease that the tenant has and showing the rent and who they pay their lease to. And then the W-9 is another important piece. The W-9 does have to come from the business owner. So the check is going to be directly cut to that landlord or mortgage company if the business is the owner of their own property. So we want the W-9 completed by the landlord. And then what will happen is we'll cut the check. The letter will be sent to the tenant congratulating them, and then they can give that check to their own landlord. And then also payroll reports showing that they have 50 or less employees. A lot of our small businesses don't have, they're only a 1 or 2 person show, which is totally fine. You can just, instead of attaching the payroll reports, you can let us know that you're a sole proprietor, and then we can use that as well. So the uploads are 4 pretty simple uploads, and if there are any issues when you're in that form and uploading, we can definitely walk you through that. One of the other things in the form, it does ask if you have received PPP funds, the payroll protection funds. We want you to still apply. You're still eligible. As I mentioned, there's been 26 businesses that have applied. We've cut checks to 26 businesses. The last round of checks that we just did, I think it was about 5 at the beginning of the week. You should be getting those checks sometime next week or the week after. We want those businesses that even if they have received those funds to go ahead and apply, because you are still eligible. So there's plenty of money left. Please go to our website, fill out that form. We really want to help as many small businesses as we can.
Thanks, Ashley. Just 3 more quick points to that. One, unfortunately, city employees and elected officials in home-based businesses are not eligible. Second, we also have economic development staff with literally boots on the street. Right now in the downtown, you may see Nancy Littercape showing up, handing out flyers, and just to say, hey, we can help you get through, we can help you work through this. And we've also put on a website, if you click on the economic development website, it immediately opens up to these in one location. It's much easier now for businesses to go right to these links. And anyone has any trouble, you don't have a Google account, you're having trouble, do it, you can send it in by mail. We will work with you. We're gonna work with every business that's needed. Let's go to the next program. Westbrook Warren Memorial Foundation Emergency Arts Fund. The purpose of this is a partnership with the Warren Memorial Foundation, where they gifted the city $50,000 to support the artist community, whether visual artists, musicians, performing artists. And it has a lot of flexibility with a $1,500 grant to cover a lost income. It's a very similar program in what you have to upload. Something important for people listening out there, the greatly affected first businesses to be hit the hardest with COVID-19. Anyone working in the entertainment field, in eateries, many of them they work off cash or cash businesses. It's so important that this is available to you locally. So Ashley, why don't you tell a little bit more detail?
So as Dan mentioned, similar process of application. It is a Google form again. We're looking for similar uploads, demonstrating revenue lost, statement of why you're eligible. You do have to be some sort of artist, musician, whether that's performing artist, visual artist, any of those that is located or have dedicated space here in Westbrook. And we would be looking for a copy of your lease or your business address to show that you're here in Westbrook. This is a $50,000 grant. So far, we've received and approved 20 applications, which is $30,000. So we have about 20,000 left over. So a little over half of the grant has been absorbed, but we still have plenty of money in there for other artists to apply. The W-9 is the business or the artist's W-9. It's not the tenant. I mean, it's not the landlord that we need for this. It's the individual artist. So a signed, completed W-9 for that. And same thing, if you're having issues, having troubles, pick up the phone, call, email. Be more than happy to walk you through or drop off a paper copy of what we need too. So I know that there are probably several more artists that we could help out there in Westbrook, and we really want you to apply for this because, as we stated, there's still about $20,000 left over for this.
Okay, thank you. The Westbrook's takeout and delivery support effort. Again, a shout out to Jay Lackey. He was the one who had the initial idea. Mayor Foley said, let's jump on this. And this has been very successful. The only part that's not successful is every Monday when the mayor does the spinning of the wheel, he refuses to let me return letters. I've been trying every week. He says, you're not going to do that. This makes sense, quite frankly, to continue doing this, even without the unfortunate COVID pandemic, because it drives people to our local eateries that have options to go even to other communities. But right now it really supports them. And, you know, the city's has its investment of $1,500. Mayor Foley's been committed to doing this on the holidays. He does it the very next day. If it's a Monday holiday, he does it on Tuesday. He makes every effort to get to the site, take time out of his day during very difficult budget times because of the importance of recognizing our small businesses. Because every time he does this, it also gives marketing to the business that's being helped. And what we found is we've had great response from the recipients and the winners. Eventually, essentially, you upload $100 worth of receipts, which is really pretty easy to hit that mark. And then we do a drawing every Monday. So we really hope to continue doing this. We're into this now. We're more than halfway there. The mayor has suggested to me that he hopes that we can continue to help this going. So we're going to work on that. So Ashley, why don't you talk just a bit more about that?
Yeah, I think this program right here, this uploading your receipts is now more important than ever, especially with the announcement of the delayed in dining portion for a lot of our food service establishments. Really, this is one of the better ways you can help support these businesses by eating out lunch, dinner, and then it's really simple to upload these receipts. And then we'll put you in for the entries. The more uploads you do, the more entries you get into the program. So far we've had about 75 entries, receipts uploaded, equivalent to about $7,500 that's been put back into these local businesses, the eateries we have here. So keep doing it. It's like I said, it's now more important than ever that we continue supporting our businesses with takeout and curbside delivery. As the restaurants expand into a possible outdoor space, which we'll talk on in a second here, I'm sure we'll have an updated list of the businesses who are either expanding their takeout or curbside, or if they're going to have some outdoor seating. So there may be more businesses that are now opening up due to that you can support than there have been in the past month or two.
Thanks. The last thing we're going to talk about here today, really another shout out to Mayor Foley on this one. Being proactive on, following what the state's guidelines are, based upon what CDC guidelines are, and being proactive versus reactive really supports our small business community, and especially when it comes to retail and the restaurants. We were able to get a policy in place that really allows city staff to work directly with our restaurants, mostly in this case, with an actual plan, guidelines with a plan to put restaurants outside in a safe manner so the public can still move around down there while they can open and still meet all of the requirements. Why it was even more important is that, as Mayor Foley had said earlier when he was speaking, is that this is ever changing. Things can change on a moment's notice. And, the governor had made an announcement that, literally with just 4 to 5 days, restaurants now can't fully open the way they had planned to on the 1st. Even though that is understandable, that means we need to jump on top of that. And Mayor Foley said, we're opening up, and staff has worked well with that. And we really are pleased to announce that, the closure of Valley Square, as the mayor just has stated under his emergency powers to do so. We have nothing but positive feedback from the restaurant community. They can't thank us enough because it expands their seating. It's important for people listening to understand that restaurants were preparing to open, including indoor dining. That means they fully staff up. That further means they have to buy inventory, such as food and beverages. They anticipate this opening and what they need to generate for revenue to continue to pay their own bills. So this is a way that we can be very nimble in response to their needs. And quite frankly, I think it can be really cool as well. I mean, I think it's an opportunity to see how well this works for in the future, when perhaps we're not doing this during a pandemic. Just a really quick update, and then Ashley will go into a little bit more detail about this. I'll tell you what we know, who's going to go outside right now. We know Frog and Turtle is going to be opening, I believe the third, Wednesday the 3rd. I believe Legends Rest is opening on the 2nd. Fajita Grill is going to be going outside. Portland Pie is going to be going outside. They've been sending in all of their applications. We're processing them very quickly. And we've had really positive feedback. They felt that the city's been responsive. And we're really excited about this. So Ashley, with that, perhaps you can talk a little bit more about what the restaurants need to do, whether it's in a public space or whether it's in a private space.
So we pretty much, in front of council, we had put in a map outlining some parking spaces and or boardwalk use along the Riverwalk, sidewalk use that businesses could utilize for their outdoor dining expansion. As Dan mentioned, some of the restaurants that have already submitted, we have 7 total businesses that have submitted plans to expand outside. In addition to what Dan just said, Mass Landing and Profenos are another 2 that are going to be expanding outside. Each business will be open as they can. They still have to get stanchions, tables, all of those stuff. So some of them are hoping to open up outside by the beginning of next week, if not middle of next week. But we'll make sure that we announce each business as they plan to do so. Alongside Valley Square, we are going to be blocking off Main Street and the backside with jersey barriers or sawhorses to make it so traffic can't go down there. The sidewalk along Frog and Turtle will be utilized by them to expand outside. They are going to have that completely roped off for exclusive use of their restaurant. So they're also expanding their liquor license to go outside to be able to serve beverages out there as well. With the liquor law, right now, we don't have ordinance on open container law, so you can't take drink from one establishment to the other. So these restaurants still have to have a stanchioned area where they're going to be serving beverages with food. So you'll have to make arrangements with Frog and Turtle to utilize that space, as well as their new outdoor deck, which we're very excited for them to open up. So they'll be utilizing those 2 areas. On the other side, Portland Pie will be utilizing that sidewalk along Valley Square as well for their space. Again, roped off because they're going to be extending their alcohol into that area as well. Then down the middle of Valley Square, we're opening that up to public use. So we're going to be making it so a sidewalk space is in the middle of the road, not necessarily roped off, but just enough so that there's adequate life safety distance to walk down, so those individuals that wanted to walk down in the backside to get along the River Rock still can. Then on each side of that, we'll be placing public picnic tables. Now, the picnic tables are going to be utilized for public use. It's anybody can sit out there, and it's really to hope that you order from our downtown businesses for takeout, curbside pickup, and have a space to sit outside as the weather is nicer as we're coming into our summer months. So a shout out to our public services crew who's working out the logistics of that right now to block off probably this weekend, and placing those tables out there, spaced to coordinate. They'll be spaced 6 foot apart for social distancing. And then over towards the falls in our South Garap Park, we'll be placing a couple more public picnic tables over there as well. so that public can again utilize that space for outdoor seating. Fajita Grill and Legends Rest will be on the boardwalk in outdoor space. Each one of them will be roped off for exclusive use of their own eatery. Legends Rest was there last year. They're going to be a little bit larger than they were last year, which is great for them. And then Fajita Grill will be next to them. You'll have to work with each business to make reservations for those spaces outside. And then in Riverbank Park, we're working on getting picnic tables to be placed out there. There are a few there now, but we want a few more out there as well to help the businesses along the upper end of Main Street to so you can order takeout and delivery. As far as businesses that want to expand to the outdoor section, we have our application up online. You can call, I can email it to you. It's a pretty quick application. We just are looking for a plan of what you're putting outside, tables, chairs, how you're roping it off. And then if you're looking to expand your liquor license, your current liquor license that you have the option to do so. That's a one-page form that I can help you through, and then we'll send it up to the liquor licensing division so that they have it on your file so that you can start serve out in that stanchioned off area. It's important for the public to know that we want you to utilize the picnic tables that we're placing out in Valley Square, Sakura Park, and Riverbank Park for outdoor seating, for pickup, takeout, those types of things. But you're not allowed to consume alcohol in those spaces because they are public spots. And we, like I said, we don't have a ordinance on open container law at this point. So I think that is the plan right now. As businesses apply, we'll make sure we let the public know and we share their hours, their information of when they're planning to open up, and the hours of operation. But this is an option for our businesses to really try to expand outside, given the fact that they are delayed in the indoor seating and space out capacity, so that everybody is safe and can enjoy these eateries over the next couple months.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Really appreciate that. That was very thorough. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Foley.
Thank you, Dan and Ashley. Dan and Ashley have done an outstanding job getting all these programs organized and articulated in a manner that's easy for everyone to understand, and getting back to people and getting the award letters out and getting the checks out to people for the grant programs, and then getting all the information associated with the outside dining. We had hoped early on in May that outside dining would have been allowed sooner. So that's why we were ready. And unfortunately it didn't, but we were ready. Now with the existing restriction of outside dining only, we were ready to go. So I'm glad here in the city of Westbrook that we had those regulations in place in order to help folks. And then we had hemmed and hawed about closing Valley Square because of different safety and traffic concerns. But given the limited outside dining, we wanted to get that done, get that street closed so we can allow for some public space. We're also gonna add some picnic tables pending we get some. Picnic tables are on limited supply because folks all over the country are doing this, and towns and cities are doing this. We're going to add some picnic tables over to the Sakurapa Park area, which is on the other side of the Bridge Street Bridge. Hopefully add a couple there. And we're going to add a couple of more in Riverbank Park as well to help the businesses down that way that are in the area. So people get takeout from those businesses, they can go sit in those locations. And then lastly, any business that I think we focused a lot on downtown, but any other businesses that want to expand in their parking lot or in a sidewalk or whatever, reach out to Ashley and Dan, and they'll be able to get you the extension of privileges for those. And especially Dan, having been in the business a long time and having contacts with the state, he got us connected with the Bureau of Alcohol and Liquor Enforcement, and he was able to get approval immediately from them, knowing how thorough we are here in the city of Westbrook, that all we simply need to do is send them all the information and they'll put it on file and they'll know the businesses that we've authorized to do this. So it's great to be able to have that, that feature. And to stress what Ashley talked about, now's the time to support our downtown businesses more than ever. They have been closed, pretty much closed for nearly 2 months. and they need our support as a community. We want to see more entries coming into our Westbrook's Takeout and Delivery Support Effort contest. Like Dan said, we'll look to expand that. I think we got 6 or 7 weeks left. We're going to try to expand that into the fall because these businesses are going to need our support. And we want to reward you for that with an entry to try to win $100 gift certificate to a local business. So we hope that you can participate. Supporting our business is important. And then lastly, in addition to closing Valley Square and all the other things we're doing, we're going to bring back some Christmas lights. Though it's not Christmas time, we feel like our public services department does an outstanding job with the lights, and we're gonna finagle it a little bit different, but we're gonna get some lights out in our downtown to help bring some joy and excitement to everyone during this difficult time that we found ourselves in. And this will help to provide some lighting for our businesses outside, have some ambient and cool lighting features. So we look forward to that. Things are going to happen a little bit in phases. We're going to get the road closed. We're going to get the picnic tables out, get some of the additional picnic tables out, and the lights are going to trickle out. It takes the crew a lot of time to put those out, and quite frankly, we'll probably leave them out until Christmas. So we appreciate everyone's support and understanding, and like I said, support your local businesses. Today, our update today, in addition to announcing the city's reopening plan, I wanted to focus on what we are doing for our businesses and to help our businesses as much as possible. This is a very challenging time for them, and I hope we can rally around them and help to bring great success to them and bring great success to the city of Westbrook and keep everyone sustainable going forward. If anyone has any other ideas, suggestions, or questions, I've been monitoring Facebook and the Zoom function. It doesn't look like we've had anyone to submit any questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us and we'd be happy to help you out. Thank you again for everyone for joining and tuning in today. If you didn't get a chance to watch this live, be sure to come back and you can watch some of the other things that we talked about. And we look forward to seeing you more out in the community as we get together. Follow the guidelines and do your best to help keep everybody safe. We are a strong community here in Westbrook, and we will come out stronger after this. Hope everyone has a wonderful day and enjoys the wonderful weather. Have a good day.